All right. Everybody hear me okay? Wave your hand at me if you can hear me okay. Good deal. So tonight we are going to talk about something I've been incredibly excited about. Again, I apologize for kids in the background. It's still early here. So, but something I've been really excited about the last couple of months. Some of you know I've launched a new training group called 4 Weeks to Believing in You. And the reason for that is, well, let me just introduce myself because this is Team Triceps Call and Sarah wasn't here to introduce me. My name is Josh Coates. Most of you know that, but a few of you maybe have no idea who the heck I am. I'm a speaker, coach, trainer on the John Maxwell team. You all know who John Maxwell is. If you don't, Google it. Let's just get into some good stuff, okay? So tonight I want to talk to you about beliefs because I believe that there's a huge separation between people in this company who really, who is this dude? Who really believe in themselves, are seeing awesome things happen. And then people who are still trying to figure it out. And there's a few different reasons, okay? In most of the groups, most of the calls, we're talking all about what to do, how to implement things, how to change things. And those are all good things. And we obviously need to know how to do. How many of you know it's really tough to grow a business if you don't know what the heck to do, right? So those are all great, and I'm not here to criticize us doing calls on how to do things. We all need to know how to do things, but sometimes there's more to it than that. And I want to walk you through. Some of you have heard me make this statement before, but I want you to write these 3 words down because these 3 words are going to have a lot to do with what we talk about tonight, okay? The 3 words are be, do, have. Be, do, have. And some of you heard me speak on this at the Triceps Retreat. Hang with me. I promise we're going to go to a way deeper level than we went to at the Triceps Retreat. I've had some material that I'm going to teach that I've never taught before. And we're going to get deep into the B part. But first, I want to walk you through this process so you know what the heck I'm talking about. Okay? So many people think that the only way to have something, or I should say the only way to be something, is to have something. So they think if I want to be a rock star, if I want to be successful, I need to have maybe a diamond status, maybe a 2-star status, maybe a 5-star elite status. Maybe some of you get to the point where you think you have to have a 15-star status. But the point is, many of us are waiting to be something until we first have something, which is the exact opposite way of how real life actually works. You see, who we are on the inside always manifests what we have on the outside. So if you wait until you have something on the outside to change what you believe about yourself, you will spend the rest of your life sitting around waiting, not having anything. Because the way to have true success is to believe on the inside first, which changes the way you do things, which changes the kind of results that you get. So here's a few problems that we have in the business. Is number 1, we have people that want to have something different without doing something different. Now, how many of you have heard the quote from Einstein that says, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is insanity? Everybody's heard that quote, right? We've heard that like a million times. If you haven't heard it, well, now you have heard it. It is insanity to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. And we tell people this about their health journey all the time. In fact, I bet all of you in the last few days have posted some type of motivational post about health, saying something like, if you want to change your life, you have to change something you do every day. That's actually a John Maxwell quote, but we use it for health and fitness all the time. And we're constantly judging people who want to lose weight, who want to get healthy, who want to have results that aren't willing to buy a challenge pack, aren't willing to check into their challenge group, aren't willing to put in the work that it takes to have that healthy life that we want, right? As Beachbody coaches, that's one of the things we have a pretty good grip on. We have a pretty good understanding of, but then we don't translate that into our business. Because we have Beachbody coaches that work out every day, stick to their meal plan, and they've got the health motivation part down good. But yet in their business, they complain that they're not rank advancing, that they're not hitting Success Club, that they're not recruiting coaches, and yet they're not doing anything different than they've ever done before. In fact, I would say that most Beachbody coaches, and just hang with me, I promise there's some loving stuff in here too, but most Beachbody coaches show up for work, but I mean your business, 2 or 3 days a week, and wonder why they don't rank advance, they don't hit Success Club, they don't recruit coaches, which is crazy because think about it. How many of you would work out 2 or 3 days a week and expect to get results in your health and fitness? Nobody would, right? But then in our business, we show up 2 or 3 days a week and we wonder, why in the world am I not getting results? Well, you're not getting results because you're not doing enough. You're not doing the work that it takes to have what you really want, which is why Sarah decided to start doing Power Hours live every single morning to give you guys extra accountability, to help you to do the right things. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen anyone do. I'm so excited about this. I know there's different people doing live Power Hours at all different times of the day now. If you haven't got in on that bandwagon, hop in on it because it's awesome. And that's what the business is all about. In fact, Sarah Try, right behind her in her office, there's a quote on her wall that says, "We are what we repeatedly do." And that's the philosophy she's lived by ever since she started her business, that we are what we repeatedly do, not what we occasionally do, not what we do every once in a while. I posted something that I read the other day that said, successful people do daily what unsuccessful people do occasionally. If you want to have something, you have to be willing to put in the work. Work. Oh, sorry, I won't go there. No singing from Josh tonight. I just can't help it when I hear that word. You've got to put in the work if you want to have something, okay? But, hate that song. Sorry, Brady. But here's the thing. Some people actually are doing all the work. They're showing up every single day in their business, and they're doing their Power Hours, and they're inviting people, and they're talking to people, and they're starting new convos, and they are doing everything we've said to do, and they're still not getting results. Why? Because they are doing, now we are what we repeatedly do. That is true. But we also do what we really believe. What is on the inside of us will find a way to come out of us. What you believe about yourself will affect not only what you do, but how you do. How many of you have ever seen a very, very successful person and you had the opportunity to meet them in person, and it's like you just sit down with them and it's like confidence just oozes out of them and you're like, holy crap, this person has got it. They're like the real deal. Anybody ever met someone like that or been around someone like that? There's a different way they do things because of what they believe about themselves. They have a higher level of confidence, a higher level of belief, which causes everything they do to change. If you go look at me, I literally left a video intentionally on my YouTube channel just to show people what I looked like when I first started my business. If you go to my YouTube channel and scroll down to the very, very, very bottom, you're going to see a video of me, and I'm dressed. I think I'm like in a dress shirt and tie because I just signed up for the John Maxwell team. I had no idea what my brand was. I was literally just copying John Maxwell is all I was doing. And the video I love to just watch the first 10 seconds of the video and then I have to turn it off because I'm laughing so hard. But if you watch the video, I'm like, "Hi, my name is Josh Coates, and I'm a speaker, coach, and trainer on the John Maxwell team. Today, I want to talk to you about the law of the lid." And I every single time I literally go watch it just to get a good laugh. Kind of like some of you guys go to watch me falling off the bench to get a good laugh. Kind of has the same effect for me. And it's hilarious because you can tell I don't know in that video who I really am. I'm still trying to figure it out. Now, I was doing the right actions. I was posting videos. I was running mastermind groups. I was putting on my own live events. And now everyone's going to chat all night about me falling off of a bench. But I was doing but there was something missing on the inside because I still hadn't really found myself. I was still just copying other people. Okay, no name calling, Brittany. I was still just copying other people. I didn't believe in me. Now, I believed in John Maxwell. I believed in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I believed in every book he's ever wrote and everything he's ever told me. I believed in the system. I believed in the process, but I still was working on believing in me. And I believe that's where a lot of you are. You believe in Shakeology. You've had great results with it. You believe in Shaun T, Chalene Johnson, Autumn, everybody. You believe in the trainers. You believe in the products. You believe in the system. And I think that most of you even believe in the business. But you still don't believe in you. You still wonder every single day, can I make this business work? Can I help people get results on their health journey? Can I recruit coaches and help them to have success? There's not a problem with believing in the products or the process. If you didn't believe in the products and the process, you wouldn't be a Beachbody coach. You'd sell candles. There's plenty of network marketing companies out there where you can sell the easiest crap in the world and people buy it because it's just normal products they would use, right? You got to really, really, really believe in this company to even be willing to spend $100 a month for your Shaco, right? Now, I know and you know that it's worth it, more than worth it. It's changed my family's life. It's given me my wife back. But do you believe in you? So I want to talk a little bit about where our beliefs come from, why we have them, and how we change them. Because how many of you know it doesn't really help at all to just find out you don't believe in yourself? Yay, we don't believe in ourselves. Thanks, Josh, for the pep talk. We appreciate it. We all suck. Yay for us. So let's talk about where this comes from, okay? So all of us, if you've ever heard any psychology talk, you probably know a little bit of this, okay? All of us have a conscious mind. Write that down. Conscious mind and subconscious mind. Yes, I know those words sound weird at first, but I promise they'll start to make sense, okay? I'm not going all weird on you guys. Conscious mind, subconscious mind. In our conscious mind is where we are aware of our five senses, okay? What we see, smell, taste, hear, and feel. Five senses. Everybody remember that from like first grade? Five senses? Okay. That is our conscious mind. What you are consciously aware of right now. Some of you are conscious, someone just itched their eye. They were consciously aware that something itched, right? Some of you are consciously aware of a kid in the background. Some of you are consciously aware of the paper that you're writing on right now. But then we have the subconscious mind, okay? Write that down. We have conscious mind, subconscious mind. Conscious mind is your five senses. Our subconscious mind is like our memory on a computer, or I guess I should say our hard drive. It's where everything that has ever come into our conscious mind begins to be stored away. And this is where our belief system is stored. Everything that we believe about ourselves and everything we believe about the world around us is stored in our subconscious mind. Right now, every single one of you are breathing. Am I right? Everyone's breathing? Okay, we're good? Solid there? Everyone's heart is beating. Most of you are doing something weird like tapping your finger or tapping your foot or maybe shifting around, or almost every single one of you are doing something right now that you're not even conscious of. But because in your subconscious mind you have stored in there how to do those things and the process that it takes. For instance, for me to raise my hand right now, I did not have to consciously think of all the different muscle groups it took to raise that hand, did I? I have no idea what muscle groups it took to raise that hand. None whatsoever, right? But I've done it enough. I've stored it in my subconscious mind. It's just a reaction. How many of you have ever been having a conversation with someone and somebody said something and it wasn't really even what they said was offensive, but somehow what they said triggered something in you that caused you to snap like that. And later you regretted it because you realized they really didn't say anything rude and they didn't really mean anything by it, but it hit a trigger of something that hit you the wrong way because of some past experience that you've had. Anybody ever had that happen? For me personally, I don't know why. I grew up, I was the youngest. I was a baby, to be honest. I was a wuss growing up as a little kid. My older brother always beat me up and made fun of me, and I would cry to mommy, and I was a little baby, okay? Because of that, as I grew older, started playing sports, started developing man ego, and started working jobs, I was constantly trying to prove that I was tough and that I was a hard worker. Because as a little kid, my brother was always calling me baby, lazy, all these different things. So I spent my whole life trying to prove that wrong. So to this day, if someone calls me lazy, oh, I get pissed. Like I get really pissed off. Even if they're just kidding around, messing around, whatever. If someone calls me lazy, it's like this monster comes jumping out of me and I lose all patience. And they may have not meant anything by it. It may have just been a joke, but it triggered something in my subconscious mind. Now, consciously, at the moment, I wasn't even aware of why I got so pissed off. It's not like I sat and thought about it and thought, that's a really offensive thing you just said about me, and I think now I will yell back at you and make a fool of myself. It just happens just like that. And I bet all of you have triggers like that. Am I right? If you don't, shoot me a personal message. I need to do some therapy work with you, okay? All of us have triggers because of what's been stored in our subconscious mind. It's our belief system. It's the way we view life, okay? Now, here's where this is really, really, really important to our business, okay? Because when we are acting out of our subconscious mind, we're not always conscious of what's going on. In fact, one of my favorite sayings that Christian Simpson, one of my mentors on the John Maxwell team, says is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. How many of you know of someone that constantly gets upset and creates their own drama and then goes around talking about how everyone else is dramatic? Anybody know somebody like that? Yeah, somebody raised their hand via the little, there's a button down here where you can raise your hand. We all know somebody that everywhere they go, drama happens. My boss. Drama happens. Bad things happen. Negative. In fact, I used to work with this guy. I swear every single day he came in, he had a story about how something bad happened in his life. Well, the dude was a moron. One time he threw a house party. Okay. He had I forget what it's called. It's like a single bedroom. It's just a one room apartment. I forget what that's called. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So literally a studio. Thank you. A studio apartment. Okay. And a tiny little one. Okay. And in the country in Oklahoma, probably like 200 square feet. And he throws a party. And the next day he comes to work and he's pissed off that someone stole his iPod. And I was like, how'd your iPod get stolen? I mean, it's a tiny little room. How did you not see someone grab your iPod? He goes, well, everyone was partying. They were having a good time. And that's how he talks, actually. They're having a good time, man. And I was like, I got to go to bed because I work tomorrow. So I'm just going to go to bed. I'm going to go to sleep. You guys just keep partying and do your thing. Wait. You went to sleep while people were partying in your own house and then woke up and were upset that someone stole your iPod? Did you even know the people that were there? Not really. It was just a bunch of strangers. Are you kidding me right now? You went to sleep with strangers in your house and then woke up upset that your iPod was missing. And this was back before we even had like iPhones. So like an iPod was like really rare. Some people are just constantly he should be happy he was alive. I agree. For more reasons than that, he should be happy that he's alive. Trust me. Some people are just constantly stirring things up. They take problems, they take chaos with them everywhere they go, and they don't even realize that they are the one that's always creating it, right? Because subconsciously, they're reacting all the time. Consciously, they're not even aware of it. They don't even know what fools they're making of themselves. They don't even know how stupid they look. Reminds me a lot of one of my kids, honestly. I have a kid that's like that. He gets mad, he gets upset, and he doesn't know how to handle his emotions. And sometimes he makes a fool of himself because he just gets so caught up in his emotions that he says and does stupid stuff that ends up getting him hurt and hurting other people. Now, he's a kid. He's in second grade. We're working with him. But as adults, we should not be this way. Would you agree? Here's the thing. I know you're like, I don't create drama, whatever. Here's what we do sometimes. If you don't believe in yourself because of past experiences that have happened, we'll dig a little bit deeper here in a second as to why these things happen and how we can change them. If you don't believe in yourself, consciously, you may copy and paste the same script that your upline coach uses. Consciously, you take the same selfie that they told you to take. Consciously, you reach out to 5-10 people every single day, just like they say to. But you are completely unaware that the way you say, the way you communicate, the look on your face says, I don't even believe in myself. And I always tell people, I can tell if you believe in yourself by looking at your selfies. Because some people are like, I just lost 20 pounds. And then their picture is like, It's like, are you happy that you lost 20 pounds? Because you don't look like you're happy. I'm confused here. You're saying I should join your challenge group. I should invest my money in you because you found a way to make life better. And yet you don't even have a smile on your face. I'm like really confused right now, right? But then we have other coaches. They could lose literally 1 pound, 1 inch. And they are so excited. They got a big huge smile on their face for their selfie. They're like, join my challenge group. I'd love to help you. The belief is shining through everything they do. And I can see it happen. I can literally watch people's journey, and people usually have this moment where I say the light comes on. One of my good friends and clients, Nicole Rapp, I can't see everyone, so I don't know if she's on tonight, but she had a moment like that where the light came on. When she first started working with me, she was one of the first clients that signed on with me after Brittany, after the call that I spoke on for Brittany. And when we first started talking, she didn't believe in herself, and I could tell. But you know what? It wasn't until about 3 or 4 months later, I swear the light came on. I hope I'm not embarrassing her, but I'm so, so, so proud of her, because when the light came on, you could see it in her pictures. You could read it in her posts. Everything changed. And since then, it didn't happen magically, it didn't happen overnight, but since then, progressively, she's got better and better and better results. And now she hits Success Club every month when 9 months ago, she couldn't even imagine selling a challenge pack. And again, Nicole, if you're on tonight, I apologize if I'm embarrassing you, but I am incredibly proud of you. And you really are a true example of what happens when people put in the time and people put in the effort to have an inward change. And it always expresses itself outwardly. So let's talk about where some of these beliefs came from, okay? Our beliefs come from a combination of 2 things. One is from emotional experiences, and one is from repetition. So let me give you a few examples here. Emotional experiences. I'm going to go through bad stuff because it's a little easier to tie in the examples, and then I'll give you the positive side, I promise. Let's pretend you're in 6th grade, okay? And up until this moment, you've always got good grades. You've always been a good kid. Your parents have always been proud of you. They've always treated you like they love you. And then one day you come home and you get an F on one of your tests. And you hand the paper to your dad. Your dad looks at it and he looks up at you and says, I cannot believe what a failure you are. And at that moment, that experience is so emotional. It goes straight through your conscious mind, digs deep into your subconscious mind. And on that day, a new belief was birthed in you. That you are not smart and you are not good enough. And so the next school year comes around and slowly it just acts out a little bit at a time. You don't try as hard at school. You don't show up on time. You stop doing your homework because in you now believe that you're a failure and it's not even worth your time. Maybe you take a job that is way less than what your potential really is. And maybe even people in your life start noticing, maybe mentors in your life start telling you things like, you have so much potential. Why are you making all these bad decisions? And the truth is, you don't even know why you're making bad decisions. You really don't know. It's gotten to the point where that one thing that happened so many years ago changed what you believe about yourself, and it's changed the way that you act for so many years. Now, a lot of you probably can relate to this as to why you had health problems. So many people have health problems as a result of what they believe about themselves. Somewhere in life, someone told them that they were ugly. Maybe someone told you you were fat. Maybe you had a really rough breakup. Maybe you had a really rough divorce. Maybe you were even in an abusive relationship. I don't know. All of us, I'm sure, can name some type of experience that has had an emotional effect on us, that has changed the way we act and react to different things in life. I had a mentor in my life. There were a few things that happened that went down where I felt manipulated, I felt used, and it changed the way I looked at leaders in my life for a really long time. And it made me think that everyone was out to get me. It made me think that everyone was trying to use me and that leaders are just in it for their own good. And it took a lot of repetition to change that. And sometimes I still deal with it. I mean, we all still deal with stuff, right? So number one is an emotional experience. Number two is through repetition. So this could happen like this. Maybe you didn't flunk the test, but maybe you got a C on your paper and everyone else was getting A's and B's. Next paper comes along, you get a C. Everyone else gets A's and B's. Next paper comes along, you get a D. Everyone else is getting A's and B's. And consistently over time, basically you see that you perform less than everyone else. And you begin to think, because of a repetition over time, that you're just not that smart, that you're stupid, that you're just not cut out to do this. Which kind of sucks, to be honest, because I'm going to hop on a pedestal here. The education system that we have, at least in the United States, does not tell you how smart you are. It just tells you how well you learn the way that they teach, to be honest. I know education is great and I love it, but there are a lot of people who make bad grades that really are a lot smarter than some of us who got good grades. And that's just truth. But we were kids. We didn't know any better. And so some people think, and again, that's not to make fun of teachers. I love teachers. I love educators. Absolutely love them. I would just also like to see some more things implemented within education. Okay. So please don't hate on me if you're a teacher. I love teachers. I just bought all my kids teachers presents the other day for Teacher Appreciation Day. I'm not a teacher hater, I promise. Okay. Not a teacher hater. I love education. Okay. But there are a lot of kids that are slipping through the cracks, and they grow up thinking that they're dumb, thinking that they're stupid, thinking that because they didn't go to college, that their potential isn't as high as everyone else's. And in fact, we even have some mentors, like parents and maybe coaches, that say, you know what, you're probably never going to be that smart. You're probably never going to make good grades. You should probably, when you're out of high school, don't even worry about going to college. Just go get a job. Okay? And people go on their entire life living this out. In fact, the president of the John Maxwell team, his name's Paul Martinelli, who is a multi-millionaire now. He lives down the street from Celine Dion. The dude is loaded. He got kicked out of high school because they told him at the age of 16, you are so far behind, even if you stayed in school till you were 20, you wouldn't graduate because you're so behind on credits. He was basically forced out of high school at the age of 16, which was his fault. He wasn't doing his work. He wasn't getting, but he grew up with a speech impediment, and everyone told him he was stupid. And what he started doing was, so that he wouldn't be made fun of as bad, he would actually make jokes about how stupid he was to make everyone else laugh. That way people would laugh with him instead of laughing at him. And he grew up his whole life thinking he was stupid. Took a job as a roofer, did that for several years, took a job as a janitor. Thankfully, a mentor took him under his wing and introduced him to a book called Think and Grow Rich. And his life was forever changed. Now he travels around the world making millions of dollars to speak and train. He's the president of the John Maxwell team and lives down the street from Celine Dion. Wow. I think he turned it around pretty good there, right? So the point was, repetition had told him he was stupid. Repetition is our best friend and our worst enemy. The title of that was Think and Grow Rich. It's the #1 personal development book of all times. It's Napoleon Hill. Repetition is our best friend and our worst friend. We all know the compound effect, right? And the compound effect is so freaking awesome when you do good things over and over and over and over. But when you think and do bad things, they still have a compounding effect. It's just not one that we really like. And so what many people have done, I was very fortunate, guys. I was very fortunate to be raised by parents who loved me like crazy. I was very fortunate to grow up around people who were very good to me. I played sports my whole life. I was really good at sports, and I made good grades. I've had a pretty easy life other than my adult life when I screwed up a lot of crap on my own. But that's all on me, to be honest. Every crappy thing that's happened in my life is all on me. It's a lot harder when crappy stuff happens to you from other people, isn't it? Because sometimes the crap that other people put in your life weighs on you heavier than the crap that you do yourself. Because at least if you did it, you know that you can fix it, right? But when other people do it, sometimes it's like, how in the world can I fix something that someone else stole, right? And so sometimes through repetition, we have grown to think we're not worthy of success. We're not capable of success. We're failures. We're losers. We're ugly. All these horrible things. I know this is not a very exciting talk right now, but I promise I'll get to good stuff. Because of these things, a lot of us are not even conscious of it because we've been trying to cover it up and hide it so much. But you cannot hide what's living on the inside. I made this statement a few years ago, and it's one that I've repeated over and over and over. And that is that our outward success is an expression of our inward growth. Brittany's heard that a few times. But the thing is, if the inside is not growing, then guess what? The outside is still an expression of what's in there. So if your business is not growing, if your life is not growing, if your marriage is not growing, if you're anything and everything in life that you could possibly imagine that's on the outside, anything you have going on is not growing, it's because of a lack of inward growth. And somewhere down in there, I would even wonder if it's not just a lack of growth, but a lack of belief. Because what we believe on the inside comes out in what we do, and what we repeatedly do is what we have. We are what we repeatedly do. Socrates was a pretty smart dude. He said that. We are what we repeatedly do. But we can only do that which we really believe. Have you ever met someone that's doing something and you can tell they don't believe in it? No one's sold on it, man. No one. You absolutely have to be sold on yourself first. And I know hundreds of people have said this before, but I'm going to say it again. You don't sell Shakeology. You don't sell Max 30, Country Heat, or anything else. You sell yourself. That's it. Telling you right now, any successful coach in Beachbody right this second could decide to sell a different product and people would still buy it. Why? Because they've bought into the person. Chalene Johnson, she can sell business training. She can sell fitness DVDs. Chalene Johnson could go on a podcast tomorrow and say she is selling cow crap, and all of you would call in right now and buy 100 pounds of it. You would buy anything she says. She is God to you people. Why? Because she sold on herself. She was sold on herself long before you were ever sold on her. And because she sold on herself, she can sell anything she wants. Now, I trust Chalene's integrity. I don't think she would actually sell crap to people. I believe that she really does provide value. But my point is, when you believe in you, people will buy whatever you have to offer. So how do we believe in ourselves? That's the trick, right? If you don't believe, how do we change that? Okay, so here's the thing. If you can have bad beliefs from emotional experiences and repetition, you can create good beliefs through emotional experiences and repetition. But I want to explain to you a little bit how this actually works inside here, okay? Because this really, honestly, was, I don't know, it changed. Sometimes it just opens things up when you find out why instead of just what, right? So here's the thing. And I wanted to draw a picture for you guys tonight. I actually got this cool, nifty little chalkboard, but you can't see it very well. Here, I'll hold it up. Maybe this will help just to see something. Can you guys see that okay? You probably have to go into speaker view to see it very good. There we go, right there. So at the top, I know it's a horrible drawing. It's not supposed to be a good drawing. It's just supposed to prove a point. At the top is the person's head, okay? This is a head. It's a stick figure. This is their body. I didn't draw the legs and arms, but surely you get that word. I don't think my chalk's around here anymore. Okay, this is the head, and it's split. See the C and the S. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, body. Okay, so what goes into our conscious mind eventually gets stored in our subconscious mind, which then becomes new belief systems that our body reacts to. Okay, see the image? I know it's a horrible image, but I just wanted you to see something. Conscious mind flows into our subconscious mind, and our body actually acts and reacts based on the emotions that our subconscious mind delivers. All of the emotions that you have come through your subconscious mind. Emotions are actually vibrations. It's simply vibrations coming from your subconscious mind. I know that's some deep crap. So we'll stay away from the deep crap and try to keep it simple. You have a wall. See that line? There's a reason that line is there. That's on purpose. Between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, there is a wall, and it is called your terror barrier. Your terror barrier. Terror as in like horrifying terror. Terror barrier, okay? And here's what happens. When you have an emotional experience, sometimes the experience is so emotional and so dramatic, it passes straight through the terror barrier into your subconscious mind and becomes a new belief. But your subconscious mind is very smart, okay? God created very, very incredible human beings that we are. If you changed your belief system every time you heard something new, don't you agree that'd be a little dangerous? I mean, every single time you hear a new radio show, I mean, let's face it, our country in the States is crazy enough with politics. Imagine if our beliefs changed every single time a politician told us something. It would be ridiculous, right? Our belief system would literally change every single time a new commercial came on, right? So we have built into us a protection system for our subconscious mind to make sure that the only way your belief system changes is if you repetitively put something into your conscious mind, because that says, this is something that I want to believe. Does that make sense? If you put it into your mind over and over and over and over, it's like your terror barrier is a brick wall, okay? It's like a brick wall. I want you to imagine a brick wall right here. And every time you put something into your conscious mind, it's doing this, and it's breaking down that brick wall. And if it goes enough over and over and over, eventually it passes over into your subconscious mind or your belief system. But as it's breaking through this wall, there becomes a point, and I know I've heard some people call it your upper limit. There comes a point where you are this close. I'm talking this close to having a whole new belief system. And that brick wall fights back with everything it has to make sure that what you're about to put in there is something you really want. How many of you have pushed for a really big goal, and you are on fire, and you are excited, and you are doing bigger things than you've ever done before, and then out of nowhere, it's like everything in your life falls apart. And you're like, what? What? Are you kidding me? Like, where did this come from? I swear, every single time I start Body Beast, I freaking injure myself 3 weeks in somehow. Last time I bruised my ribs playing basketball. This time I was longboarding down a hill and a car pulled out and I had to bail off my longboard and bruise the crap out of my ribs. Happens every time. Why? Because that brick wall is fighting us. And what it's saying is, do you really believe this? Because if you do believe in this, you'd be willing to fight for it to make sure it becomes a permanent thing. If you don't really believe in it, yeah, that upper limit. If you don't really believe in it, its point is to kind of scare you away from it and settle back into your old belief system or your comfort zone. We, every single day that we wake up and work out and work our business, are testing that brick wall. And I would bet that 80% of you have experienced this brick wall many, many, many times. And when you are this close to breaking through and having the belief, which equals actions, which equals results, that you'd always wanted, you backed out. Because when that happened, you said, holy crap, I don't know if this is actually worth it. Or if you're weird like me, most of you know I grew up very, very spiritual. I have nothing against being spiritual. I'm still a spiritual person, but some of the things I was taught just weren't right. Spiritual is not weird. Yeah, I know. But some of the things that I learned were weird, like this. Everything in life is either God's will or not God's will, which caused me to believe anytime, and I can see it so clear now that I look backwards. Now that I look back on my life, you know, we always say hindsight's 20/20, right? Looking back, it's so clear to me that there were times in my life that I was this close to breaking through. And then it's like that terror barrier attacked the crap out of me. And I was convinced if all of this stuff is going wrong, it must not have been God's will. And I backed down. And the truth is, it just got really hard and I wasn't willing to put in the work that it took. I wasn't willing to push through. And I bet all of you have experienced something the same. And I bet all of you can remember that point on your health journey when that happened. When you were doing your very first challenge group and probably somewhere around 2 or 3 weeks in, man, it started getting crazy hard. It was something mentally and emotionally was so powerful that it's so powerful. I'm a very emotional person. So, you know, sometimes I get this and some dudes don't, but I totally do. It's so emotional that it feels like if you believe in God, that God is literally trying to push you away and say, that's not right. If you don't believe in God, maybe you believe the universe is trying to send you a sign to say, hey, that's not the right thing. Whatever it is, I think all of us have some type of a belief that there's some type of warning sign or something that's like, whoa, back away. And what it really is it's just that terror barrier or that upper limit challenging us to make sure that what we're about to commit to, because once we break through that, man, it's ball game. It's a new belief system. And we're going to believe that for the rest of our life unless we take the time to go through that process again to undo it. And it's saying, I don't want you to have this unless you are committed enough to go through this brick wall to get it. And most of us give up at that point. And I can remember this happening in my business. I remember the first 6 months, just to give you a little bit of my background. My dad was a preacher. My brother was a preacher. Some of you have heard this 1,000 times, but I know some of you haven't. My uncles were preacher. Great-grandpa was literally, not even kidding. It's not a joke. Our genealogy goes back to the Mayflower, where an evangelist came over on the Mayflower. Every single person in my family has basically been a preacher. And so when I decided I wanted to start my own business, there was this heavy, heavy, heavy guilt trip that I had. And it wasn't that people in my family were putting the guilt on me. It was all inside. And so every single day I was working my business, but honestly, it was kind of inconsistent. It was kind of a roller coaster. You know, for 3 or 4 days, I'd be like all in, going at it. And then I'd run into that terror barrier. I'd kind of back off a little bit for a week or two. And I'd kind of have doubts about, is this really for me? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I being selfish? I should probably be a preacher because that's what everyone in my family, am I missing God? Am I doing the wrong thing? And then I would buck up and I would go at it for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then it would happen again. For the first 6 months, I was like this. And I remember sitting down and having a talk with my dad. And I'd given him some advice on how to help him grow his ministry stuff. And when he was done, he looked at me and said, and I told him that I was struggling. I was like, Dad, I'm really struggling with this. Like, I really, really, really want to grow a business. I feel like this is the right thing, but then I also have this other feeling that's constantly telling me this isn't the right thing. You're selfish. You should be doing what they do. My dad looked at me, and this is why I tell you guys I'm incredibly blessed with the support that I've had. And he says, Josh, what you just did for me in the last hour, helping me come up with ideas for my ministry, is just as valuable as what anyone has ever done standing in a pulpit and preaching. And there was something, it was like I'd been fighting that brick wall for so long. There was something about my dad's approval that just, it's like I swear to you, at that moment, I went all in and I never stopped. And it was about 6 months later that I met Brittany. Because repetition and emotional experiences in positive way can change our belief system. And I was reading books every single day, hours a day, honestly, listening to podcasts hours a day, putting myself in growing environments. And eventually, if I just stuck with it long enough, it's like there was like this breakthrough moment. But most people, in my opinion, never put themselves in a growing environment long enough to actually get through that stupid wall. Or maybe you're on the way. And maybe you've been pounding on that brick wall. And maybe you've been getting on team calls and you've been doing your personal development and you just haven't broke through it yet. You just have not created that new belief system yet. And that's the main point that I want to get across to you guys tonight. I told you all of this to help you understand why it's happening, because I truly believe that something magical happens when we finally understand why things are happening to us, that we're not the only ones that are weird. It's not just us. Everyone goes through this. It's a part of our psychological makeup. I don't even know if that's the right wording. I'm not that smart, okay? But once you understand why it's happening, it helps you to realize when it's happening, and then you know what to do, right? Just like if you know you have a food addiction and you can trace it back to why you have it, and then you can see when it happens, and then it makes it a little easier to talk yourself out of it when you realize that you have a food addiction and not that you're just stupid and a loser, right? Like there's just something about knowing that. So I want you to understand, first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. You look at other people in the business, you're like, man, they're rocking it and they're always excited and they're always happy and they're always so pumped up. Maybe I just don't have what it takes. Anybody ever thought that? Maybe I just can't do this. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I know this works for some people, but maybe it doesn't work for me. I 1 million, bajillion, batrillion, I know those are like my kids' numbers that they use, but I'm serious, bajillion, whatever, believe that any and every single one of you have everything you need to be successful. Every one of you. I do not doubt that about a single one of you. In fact, one of my favorite sayings from Christian Simpson on the John Maxwell team is the only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not their potential, but their awareness of their potential. Every single one of you have the exact same amount of potential. Sometimes we look at people and we're like, man, they have some special talent. They have some special gift. They have some magic formula. And if they would just share it with all of us, we could all be successful. The magic formula is simply be, do, have. That's it. Either one, you're not doing the things that they do, or two, you don't believe the same way they believe. And there's 100,000 calls on what to do, so I don't want to specifically talk about that tonight because I know there's other resources for that. Tonight, I just want to hammer into you that you have got to make the commitment to believe, which means you've got to make the commitment to repetition and emotional experiences. Repetition, emotional experiences that will help your life. Because how many of you know, if you live in this world, on this planet, there will always be negative emotional experiences and negative repetition, right? I mean, you could literally turn on the news right now and you would hear 20 bad things for every one good thing, right? They're going to like talk about one good thing that some firefighter did, and they're going to tell you about like 45,000 murders, even here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, okay? Even in Tulsa, Oklahoma, people are still pulling out their 6-shooters and shooting people and their horses, okay? It happens every day. So you have got to be committed yourself. Don't depend on others. You've got to be committed yourself to putting yourself in a positive environment for repetition and experience. So let's talk about the two main ways you need to do that, okay? Well, a few. Number one, you have got to get to every single event that you can. Every single one. Now, if you're not already planning on going to Summit, figure out a way. If you're on a team call on a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, you could be spending time with family, could be watching TV. If you're on a team call tonight, that tells me that you want this. If you didn't want this, you wouldn't be here, right? Is there somebody that got unmuted? Here, I'll mute everybody real quick. Mute all. There we go. Just in case someone unmuted themselves. I can't even hear because I have my lapel mic on. So if someone just like type 100 messages in there if you need my attention, okay? You've got to find a way to get to Summit. You got to find a way to get to the Triceps Retreat. Find a way to get to Platinum Edge in Dallas. Find a way to get anywhere and everywhere you can to create that emotional experience. Now, I understand there are severe cases, okay? This is no condemnation if you're not going to be at one of those events, but it is simply an encouraging word to find a way to get there. Someone just typed condom, and I don't know why. Random, but also use condoms. Okay, enough with that. So apparently we all know I don't do that. But anyways, moving on, because we're trying to have emotional experiences here that are good, not negative. So everyone's gone. We're all lost now. And this is going to be on my YouTube page, so hey, it's cool, whatever. But you've got to find a way to put yourself in those experiences, okay? I went to my first John Maxwell live training event for the team a few months ago, and I committed once I was there that I would go to every single one. They have them every 6 months. I will be there. I'll find a way to make it happen because I came away from that experience with an incredibly new belief set. I mean, I'm talking like I was like literally just on a different planet when I left. I went there really excited about my business, really happy with where it's going. I walked away going, holy crap, there is a whole nother level out there that I didn't even know existed. And I'm about to go there. And that's what I've been working toward ever since I came home, is going to that level that I didn't even know existed 6 months ago. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't know you could be a public speaker and live down the street from freaking Celine Dion. Are you kidding me right now? There's a whole nother, and I'm not just talking about money, okay? I'm not trying to make this about money, but there's a whole nother planet of helping people and adding value to people that I didn't even know existed. Some of you have been pushing for things like Diamond and Elite, and you're going to go to a live event, and you're going to see someone like Brittany speak on stage, see someone like Carly speak on stage, and go, holy crap. Screw Diamond, I'm going top 10. Like, I'm just going to go for it. Now, does that mean that you will actually go 10? Not necessarily, but think of the kind of drive that you have for your business when you're pushing for top 10 instead of Diamond. Would you all agree that there's a little bit different intentionality and work ethic that comes along with going for top 10 and going for diamond? But before you went to Summit, you didn't even know that that was like a possibility. It was just like, that's something way out there for special people. But then you go to Summit and you catch the energy and you catch the emotion and you walk away and you're like, I'm going to go to a whole freaking new level. That's what happens when we put ourselves in an emotional experience. We are challenged to believe something we never even knew existed. So number one thing is get to events. And by the way, that includes team calls. Team calls are events. And they're really cool events because you don't have to leave your house and you don't have to spend any money other than for internet, right? Even if you don't have internet, you can still use data on your phone, get charged an extra $10 for being on live calls, okay? Find a way. The second thing you've got to do is repetition, which is, I would say, breaks down to two things: personal development and positive affirmations. Personal development means you're reading something from someone. Got a book sitting right next to me right here. Got another one over there that I read every morning. Reading something from someone smarter than yourself, that knows more than you do, that encourages you to live at a higher level than you're at. In daily affirmations, I heard someone say a long time ago, you are your own prophet. And what he meant by that is the words that come out of your mouth have the ability to change you more than words that come from anyone else's mouth. Too many times in life, we're depending on others to encourage us, others to make us happy, to fulfill us. We need to learn to talk to ourselves. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I promise it's so freaking powerful when you say out of your mouth what you want to believe, not what you currently believe, okay? I do not currently believe that I am a world-class coach. I believe that I'm a good coach. I believe that I work with some really good people, some really successful people. Honestly, some of the people I work with are more successful than me. But world-class, that's kind of like another planet to me, right? That's like John Maxwell. Yet every single morning I say, I am a world-class coach. And when I say that, there's something that stirs up on the inside of me and makes me believe that something bigger is possible than what I currently have. I currently, as most of you know, speak for free. I'm not getting paid to be on this team call. I don't get paid to speak on team calls. As long as people have big enough teams, I speak for free so that I can basically talk about my training groups and just get my name out there. I've spoken at team retreats for free. But one of my goals, I'm going to say this out loud to you guys, is kind of personal, but it's okay because it's not currently happening, so it's okay to share this with you. One of my goals is to eventually be a 5-figure paid speaker. I want to show up at an event and make 5 figures to speak for an hour and then go home to my family. That may sound crazy, but I know of some people that make 6 figures to talk for an hour and then go see their family. That's one of my goals. Now, I talk for free right now, guys. I speak for free. I am a free public speaker. So to even just say I want to make some type of money is kind of crazy, right? But I still wake up every single morning and I say, I am a 5-figure paid speaker. And I say it every morning and I say it with conviction, and it is, seriously, it's changing. And actually I said I speak for team retreats for free. That is no longer true. I now actually charge. Someone that just paid me a lot of money to speak at a team retreat's getting really pissed right now if they heard that I speak for free. But I don't anymore. I used to. Now I charge. But my point is, every single morning when I wake up and I say that, I begin to believe things at a higher level. It challenges me to step up to a new level, right? Because 2 months ago, I wasn't charging anything. And then just in the last month or two, I've decided I've got to start charging for this stuff. It's time away from my family. Why? Because I'm saying it every single day, which is causing me to naturally gravitate toward it. In other words, I'm putting it into my conscious mind enough to break it into my subconscious mind until I believe it so much that I begin to do the things that I believe, and then I begin to have the things that I really want. And most people aren't taking it that far into believing it. They're just trying to do it. They're just trying to do, try to do. And you need to do. Trust me, you do. There's a lot of doing you got to do, okay? But you've also got to work on your believing, okay? So I have a homework assignment for you guys. And actually, I know it's already been an hour, but we're doing this new thing, guys, where we do work together, okay? We're going to use this community to do something together, okay? So here's what I want you guys to do. We're going to take 5 minutes, okay? And I want every single person to find at least 5 quotes, okay? If you're spiritual like me, you can use some Bible scriptures, or you can use scriptures from, a religious book that you read, or you can literally just Google. You can literally Google motivational quotes and then hit the images button, and it'll pop up a bunch of motivational memes, and you'll see some of your favorite motivational quotes that you've heard 1,000 times but just can't think of off the top of your head. We're going to take 5 minutes, and we're all going to write down, myself included, okay? So even if you already do affirmations, I want to challenge you to do it with us just for the community, okay? I'm going to write down 5 positive quotes that have something to do with what you want to believe about yourself. Now, it doesn't have to be a quote. If you have some specific goals that you want to do, write those down instead. But I want you to write down 5 things that you want to say about yourself every day to help change the way that you believe. Okay? Go. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
Thank you, Siri. I feel like I should be cool like Sarah and play some music because this is kind of really quiet and weird. So I'm going to play a little music. I'll try to turn it down though. This is my skating playlist, but it's a chill skating playlist.
I am the lonely one, but I could be loved. You are the only one, radio slow. This is the aftermath, whatever I've done. Am I the only one? Still don't know. Simply make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me. I'll make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me. Judas Iscariot, selling your own, man on the radio, selling your dough. Well, you're so afraid of me, but I can be loved. Oh, always so tired of yourself, and up at the radio. Simply make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me. I'll make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me. This heart burns and rains and fire. I'm knocking all my tears inside. No, my time is sweet the bird, only time to watch it burn. Oh, yeah. I see it through the flames, living on the fire. God, I know better. Sympathy, make them pay and make them bring what will be back to me. I'll make them pay and make them bring what will be back to me. Hope is a time future is slow. Love is just starting, yeah. But love is a joke. Fate is hilarious. That's what you want. Sweet, it's from the dragging us down the slow. Sympathy, make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me. Sympathy, make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me. I'll make them pay and make them bring my baby back to me.
All right, that's the timer. So some of you finished up, some of you didn't. If you didn't, that's okay. Take some time to finish it up when we hop off this call. Here's your homework assignment, okay? We already did a little work together, but I want to take it a little step further, okay? I want everyone to share. I'm gonna make a post in the Team Triceps page, and I want you to share your affirmations with everybody, as long as they're not personal. I mean, if you have some personal stuff, that's totally cool. You don't have to put that in there. We got a dancer in the background. You don't have to put that in there. But maybe because we all go through different stuff, we all found different stuff, that's okay. If it's personal, that's fine. You know, if you like have a income level that you're trying to hit, you don't have to share that. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to share and then also catch the momentum so that people that weren't on the call tonight can see what we're doing and they can hop in on the homework with us, okay? And I want you to schedule time in your power hour, okay? Start off your power hour with these things. Because remember, be, do, have, okay? If we believe first, it will change what in the way we do, which will then change what we actually have, right? So imagine if every single morning, before you message people, before you post, before you follow up, you're saying things like, what if I can't? Oh, but what if I can? What if you're saying things like that about yourself and getting yourself kind of fired up before you actually do your power? I don't know how many of you grew up playing sports, but for me personally, we had music that we would play right before we went out on the field or right before we went on the court because there's something about getting that adrenaline jacked up. Most of you know from working out, you take some Energize, you crank up some music, and you do your thing, right? There's something about that that just like gets your fire going, right? Before I used to take the stage in my band that I played in, literally I had headphones backstage at every single concert. I would listen to my favorite song before I took the stage. It would just get that adrenaline going. And I believe positive affirmations are to your business what Energize is to your workout, because it lights that inward fire. It brings out that positivity. It brings out that confidence. And then you have the ability to go do in a different way. Okay? So make sure you get that homework. I'll make the post in Team Triceps. Everyone just go comment on it. If you want to just share one or two of them, that's fine too. So I'm going to take 10 minutes and we're going to do some Q&A. If anyone has some questions, I'm going to unplug my lapel. I'm going to go to gallery mode. And if you have questions, great. If not, that's okay. If you're just like fired up and ready to go. Did anybody learn anything tonight? Raise your hand if you learned something. Okay, beautiful. So if you have a question, I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. There's a lot of you. If a couple of you unmute yourself at the same time, that's totally cool. If you want to ask a question about what I talked about tonight, or something else going on in your business, whatever you want to ask questions about. I'm going to give like 10 or 15 minutes for that. Again, if you don't have questions, that's totally cool. That's fine. But don't make me sit here awkwardly, okay? You are special, sir. Oh, well, thank you. I'm assuming I don't know if you're talking to me or Jimmy. Jimmy had his shirt off earlier, so I was wanting to say sweet somethings about him because that's a beautiful man right there. Just unmute yourself. Seriously, if you don't want to, it's cool. If nobody unmutes himself, I'm going to unmute a few people just for fun, okay? All right, here we go. Picking random people. And this is going to be completely random just for fun. Okay, Liz Sturgis, you look a little nervous, so I want to unmute you first. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Awesome. Tell me, what was your biggest takeaway tonight?
I wrote some stuff down. Let's see here. To have true success, you must believe on the inside first.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I write
Let me
down?
ask you this, Liz. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Why was that important for you to learn?
Believing in myself has always been hard. So I'm learning, since I've been a coach, I've really been focusing on that and learning how to do that. So.
Do you mind me asking why it's been hard? I mean, you don't have to give me nitty-gritty details, but can I just ask why?
I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest.
So, I mean, do you, I'm assuming, love the products?
Yes.
I'm assuming you love the challenge groups?
Yes.
You love the idea of coaching?
Yes.
So why do you have trouble believing that you could sell such great products and promote such a great brand?
I don't know.
Do you think you're afraid of success? Do you think you're afraid of talking to people? Do you think, is there something that you're not connecting with?
Yeah, I've always been a shy, very introverted person. So it's a learning process and talking to people and getting out of my comfort zone, obviously. And I've really gotten a lot better. But it's definitely a learning process and a growing process.
It's definitely a learning process, especially if you're not a peacock like myself. But I wasn't always a peacock. I was very, very shy and bashful as a kid. I came out of my shell when we changed school districts, and I realized that the only way to make friends was to make a lot of noise, and it was just all downhill from there. So what's your biggest struggle in the business, would you say?
I don't know. Getting people to just buy. Getting people to, I can get them in the clean eating group, and then from there I struggle getting them to move forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it because they don't enjoy the clean eating group? Do they have a good time?
Yeah, they seem to.
Okay. So, I mean, what's the problem? Is it that Shakeology is too much?
Yeah, usually it's too expensive.
Too expensive?
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's worth it, obviously.
It's really expensive, right, Liz?
Yeah, but it's worth it. That's what I tell them. It's it's an investment in yourself.
I walked you into a little bit of a trap there.
You're saying it's expensive. I know. It's an investment.
Because shaking, it's not expensive.
No, it's an investment in yourself.
But I know that you probably still think it's expensive in your head, right?
Maybe.
Do you think that it's a lot of money to ask somebody to spend?
No.
So why did you agree that it was expensive?
I know some people think it's expensive, and I know it is expensive for some people.
Right. But those same people are messaging you back on an iPhone.
Right.
Or playing on their MacBook and messaging you back while watching Netflix in the background on their 50-inch TV. Probably a smart TV that's hooked up to internet that costs $100 a month drinking out of an all stainless steel water bottle so their water stays cold for 12 hours. Come on, how lazy am I that my water needs to stay cold for, like, I don't refill my water once every 12 hours, right? So
Yep.
my point is this, that nothing is really expensive. It should be, is it valued? Because if you value something and you understand its value, you'll never talk like it's expensive. You'll talk about the value that it has to offer. In some people's minds, my one-on-one coaching has become very expensive. But I personally know the value that it has. I've even had people tell me that my training groups are too expensive and that it's ridiculous that I charge money for training that their uplines offer for free. But I know the value that I have to offer, so I don't bat an eye at charging that much. And I'm not saying specifically that you don't believe, but because I kind of walked you into a trap, I found out that you did think it's expensive. And I just want you to understand that it's not. It's a value, right? Everything we buy has value to it. Some people are buying Cadillac Escalades brand new for $80,000 to $100,000. That's pretty expensive, but not if you value really high quality leather seats and chrome rims. To them, it's not expensive because they have the money for it and that's what they value, right?
Right.
And the value that we pack into Shaco, I believe in it. That's how much I'm sold on it. I say we. The value that's packed into Shaco far, just what Brittany, exactly just what she said, far outweighs the dollar sign on it. If you think of, so when you're talking about the challenge group, make sure and tie in, not that it's expensive, not, I know it costs a lot, make sure and tie in the value of how it's changed your life. And that you would love for them to join the challenge group and experience what you've experienced. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Did you write down some really awesome affirmations?
Yeah. I don't know if they're awesome. They're yeah, I did.
Okay, I won't make you say them. I won't. I won't make you stay on here for 30 minutes. I'll call someone else out and embarrass them. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Hey, thanks for letting me unmute you. I know you didn't let me, but thank you anyways. It's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
Okay, I'm gonna call out another person. Just because it's fun, I just like it. And I have to pick someone that I can pronounce their name because there's some people that I can't pronounce. I want to unmute Janelle Miner. What's happening?
Hey, what's up?
Are you doing all right tonight?
I'm doing good, yeah. And
Good.
I'm while taking care of my 5 boys, so.
Oh, beautiful. How many boys?
5 boys.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. So let me ask you, what was your biggest takeaway tonight?
Well, probably to continue to say my affirmations out loud. That's something I've been working on with Sarah. Sarah tries my PS.
Okay.
And that's probably my biggest thing too, is it's not the fake it till you make it, but literally I think I need that. Because I was kind of telling her my biggest struggle is like my husband, he believes in what I do specifically. Like he knows that I enjoy coaching and he sees how much passion it's brought me and personal fulfillment, but he doesn't see this as a lifelong like job. Like he's not in agreement with me, like quitting my corporate job type of thing. So I'm struggling with trying to make him see that. So that's probably my biggest struggle is him believing, and more than just me, but believing in the business too.
So let me ask you this. What do you think would cause him to believe in the business?
To see me be consistent and unwavering in it.
Okay. So what you're saying is the power is completely in your hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we make the mistake sometimes in our head to think that it would be easier if someone would believe in us.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I could break through that wall that I was talking about earlier. Maybe we could break through that terror barrier, that upper limit, if they believed in us, because somehow that their belief would help us through that wall, right?
Yeah.
Which it would. I mean, I talked earlier about how my dad, what he said really was a huge game changer for me. And that does definitely help. But what you're saying is he would support you if he could see your consistency and your determination, right?
Mm-hmm. True.
Which means if you can be consistent and determined long enough, then he hops on board. You may have already had your breakthrough by then. And I always say the greatest way to prove to a spouse that the business is legit is to hand them a check so big, there's no way they can deny it. I mean, when I handed, my wife the first week that I made over 4 digits and actually outdid my day job in 3 days a week, it was really hard to deny whether or not my business was legit, right? And sometimes that's what it takes, to be honest. My wife is incredibly supportive, but I don't know that she believed in my business the way she knew it was the right thing, but she didn't believe in it the way I did because I needed to quit a job. So I was kind of forced to believe at a much higher level because I wanted it to happen so quickly. My wife's a little smarter. Okay. A lot smarter than me. And she actually looked at numbers and said, Josh, the numbers have to be there. You can't just quit just because you say it's going to work. Right. So what did I do? I worked my butt off so hard to hand her so much money that she didn't have any reason but to let me quit my job. Now, I know it's a difference. I'm not saying my wife didn't support me because she did. You know what I mean? But sometimes I didn't feel supported because she's a little more analytical than me, and I wanted to just go off and fly, and she was always making me actually use my brain. I thank God for my wife because without her, I would never use my brain, ever. Like, never. But I had to put in the hard work to earn her belief. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Because he hasn't been on the team calls, right?
No, he's heard plenty though.
He's heard plenty, but not by choice.
Right.
He's heard it as background noise, right? Does he use the products?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does he, is he in the challenge groups?
No. No.
See, there's so many parts of the business that you're getting to buy into, that you're getting surrounded with this positive emotions. Remember I talked about consistency and emotional experiences. He hasn't had any of those.
Right.
Which is why I highly recommend for everyone, find a way to get your spouse to an event. Some people went on the cruise and literally walked away and their husbands were all in. They're like, let's go make this happen. Why? Because the emotional experience caught them too. Many of your spouses are missing out on the emotional experiences. Find a way to get them there. Best way to do that is earn a free cruise. I don't know of a husband that's going to argue with a free cruise. Let them catch that energy. But if you can't get them to something like that, just understand, if I can be consistent long enough, they will eventually buy in. But I can't expect them to have the same emotional attachment that I do when they haven't even had any of the emotional experiences that I've had. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So keep rocking your world. I know you've got an awesome mentor. Keep rocking your world, okay?
All right, thanks.
Thanks for letting me call you out.
For sure.
Even though you didn't really let me, I just did it.
It's all good.
Okay, I want to unmute one more person. Amanda, what's up?
Nothing much.
That didn't look like a very happy face.
I'm
How are you tonight?
good. How are you?
I'm very good. Hey, if you stayed on the call this long, you can't mind being unmuted because I said I was going to start unmuting people, right?
Fair enough.
So I kind of had your permission if you think about it.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway tonight?
Well, I might have to re-listen to it because my son was on my lap for half of it, so it was hard to hear a lot. But sorry, I'm just going back to my notes.
And if anyone has to split, it's totally cool.
Pardon?
If anyone needs to leave, it's totally cool. I'm just hanging out for fun, just to talk to people.
Sorry. So I guess it's the, because I know, I've heard about the whole conscious, subconscious, and, what you hear is what you end up believing and thinking and all that kind of stuff, but not so much the, that wall piece, because I get, a really good flow and momentum, and then all of a sudden I get super, super overwhelmed with everything because I have, twins that are 1.5 years and a almost 4-year-old, and I work full time, and so then I get really good momentum, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I get overwhelmed, and I get disorganized, and then I just stop doing everything. And I don't know if it's partially because like I feel like if I just keep going, I'm going to eventually just like break down almost, or if I keep going at that momentum that it's just too much.
Yeah.
Versus like I need to push through that wall to just continue the momentum, and then everything will still be okay.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is several times you've got to that wall, it's turned to chaos, and you've split.
Totally.
So what could happen? Let me ask you this. Have you had the results that you really want to have in this business?
I haven't reached my goals that I want, but I've made progress towards them, not as quickly as I would like.
Not as quickly as you would like, which means you haven't had the results that you want. You've had some good results.
Yes.
I don't want to take that away from you. You've had good results, but not the results you really wanted.
Right.
So what could possibly happen if we go for it? I mean, what do we have to lose?
Well, nothing. I'll reach my goals, and it'll happen in the time frame that I want versus the time frame it's happening in.
Right. And then what could you have? What is it you're pushing for? What is it what do your goals represent, though? I mean, obviously your goals are probably Diamond Elite, things like that, but what does that represent to you?
I guess freedom a little bit, so that I can, like, my husband's Portuguese and he has a family home in Portugal, and I would love to go on vacation whenever we wanted, more or less. Or, you know, I have 3 kids that are expensive, and I can buy them, I'm not that person to buy them whatever they want, but like, I don't have to think twice about, oh, we need this, and I can just go and get it for them.
So your family.
Oh, yeah.
So the next time you get to that brick wall, I want you to think about the life that your family deserves.
They're sometimes the ones that cause my brick wall. Because
they are.
They are chaotic.
But imagine, not Charlani, imagine even if it is a 3-week period that you have to push through that chaos.
Mm-hmm.
If something happens that it turns into 3 months of chaos, I think you'll realize, okay, this wasn't my wall. This is just, apparently I can't handle this much stress in my life, right?
Yeah.
But if it's just a 2 or 3 week season,
mm-hmm.
and then you break through and go flying off towards your goals and have the freedom that you want, I don't know, maybe you could hire a babysitter every now and then.
Oh, I have in-laws for that. I have very wonderful in-laws.
Maybe you could do some of the fun stuff with your family that you've wanted to do. Go on vacation, go to these places, and do the stuff that you want to have. And the only thing it would cost you is 3 weeks of chaos.
Yeah.
Which in real life feels like an eternity, right?
Totally.
But in comparison to the life that we have, the rest of the life we have to live, it's like nothing.
Yeah. No, 100%. You're right.
So next time you get to that brick wall, because it's coming soon.
Oh, like in 2 weeks.
It's coming really, really soon. What are you going to do?
Just push through.
Going to dig in.
Just do it.
Dig in. And that, honestly, that's the time when personal development and daily affirmations needs to be at its highest. Which usually in life, when crisis happens, that's the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Daily affirmations and our personal development. But we need to understand that when that happens, that's when we need to take that more seriously than we've ever taken in our life before. Cool. Thanks for letting me unmute you, Amanda.
No problem.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hopping on the Triceps call tonight. If you don't know, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but hopefully you know, Sarah is in Belize. So thank you so much for hopping on to hang out with me tonight. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to make the post in the Team Triceps page, so look for that so you can comment below with your affirmations. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Have a great night, okay? Bye, guys.